My name is Inseok, and I'll be chatting with you guys about my topic for the video project, which is the reference to Ode to My Father and changes of gender inequality in Korea, specifically for female gender equality and as well as sexism. So yeah, let's get to it. I know this presentation isn't really a fancy, like I just made a basic presentation with some visuals so I can show you guys what I'm thinking about and what specific examples I showed um, throughout history of Korea and as well as the movie. So, Ode to My Father. Uh, it was my first time watching the movie. I mean, I didn't really know that much about Korean history, um, and the political societal expectations of gender equality, especially for women in Korea. Because as you know, some of you know, I was born in Thailand, and I really I haven't been taught that well of Korean history or all the um basic knowledge, I wasn't really aware of it because obviously I came from international school and they don't really teach that much about Korean history. So just to begin with, before talking about the movie, as you can see here, this is an example pic of 제사상, which is a traditional ceremony to honor the family tree's ancestors, which my family don't do because we have a Christian background. And for many of Christians, I don't think they really do 제사, or they would just gather together and pray together. And one thing I want to talk about is for gender inequality, I thought about the preparing for 제사상. In like the late 1900s, women were designed to, I mean, not designed, but like to prepare for the 제사상 while men like father and all the 어르신 would just chill basically. And I just thought about how that affected like how women are supposed what women are supposed to do. And this is not something that's only going on in Korea. It's for many other cultures, such as like that. Okay, I'm gonna say something really offensive, like that phrase of "women are supposed to be in the kitchen." That is very offensive and rude to say in these days. But I just think that's how it was back then, where women, while men worked in companies or like labor to support the family, women were designed for the household, doing chores, making food, and obviously preparing the sesasang. And this pic right here, I just fetched this picture from Google. It's it says 가자 여성 파워. Um, I think this is supposed to be a like a demo, like a parade where people women didn't think they got really rights as men, more rights as men, um, saying that all gender should be like equal and things that men can do, women can also do. And I just thought this picture will help me guide through the video project I'm about to talk to you guys about. Yeah, and this picture right here, this is actually it's kind of like irrelevant, like if you would say, but I just chose this picture because it reflects late Korea, I mean early Korea, the early 1900s, where situations weren't really good back then. Many women, not only women, but the economy was really poor, especially after Japan taking over Korea. Things just didn't go well that time, and when things are not good, like your number one priority will be to survive and live, make money, and like all like you wouldn't be thinking of purchasing like expensive stuff. You would really want to prioritize your family to live. Okay, enough with off-topic stuff. Let's get back to the movie. So, what does gender equality have to do with the movie? So, to my father, 국제시장, I chose a couple of examples that just really stood out to me as a person who have not really learned much about Korean history. But obviously, now that I took contemporary Korean studies with Professor David, I gained more insights and just my thoughts expanded towards not the movie itself, but more like the history behind the movie and and I'll be talking to you guys about what really stood out. So first example, education. The part where Maksun, which is Toksu's sister was forced to quit school. After the Hungnam evacuation, she was obviously forced to give an education with help with the family household. And this actually connects back to the Taesang picture right here, where what I talked about how women were um, expected to stay home, take care of children, take care of house chores, and um, while men worked, women were really not prioritized, given a chance of education. And this reflects the traditional gender roles that back then, where obviously women were more mm, not as sensitive as these days, where they're more expected to work with the childs and to just expected to support the family domestically. So this is a picture of a high school student studying. Well, obviously, right now, these days, things have changed. More women, I mean, in some perspectives, women are more encouraged to study than men in high school, and all the broad, wide ranges of occupations, women have more been prioritized more than men, which was different from back then. Okay. Before I get to the second example, I will take a sip of coffee. Thank you. So the second example, portrayal of Youngja, Tuk's wife. So Tuksu met his wife. He fell in love with his wife in Germany when he wanted to support for his family. Again, things were tough. The family was going through a hardship those times. So he goes to Germany for a 3 year coal mine program where he basically goes to work as a coal miner and he gets money for his sister's wedding. I can't really recall that well, but yeah, to just in overall to support his family, he leaves his family for 3 years to do harsh labor. And as you know, love happens at the most random times. He goes to Germany. He falls in love with this wonderful lady who is a university student and works as a nurse as part-time. And I chose this example. This is a picture of Youngja, by the way. Specifically because I felt like the fact that they got into like a romantical situation, she faced some not that much of a pressure, but still some societal judgments and more expectations from her environment. Excuse me. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because how Youngja when she fell in love with Toksu, she despite being capable and professional of her current how do you pon업 her current situation, which is being a student and being a nurse at the same time, she's still expected to take on full caregiving and does domestical duties, even after marriage. Because as you know, if you watch the movie, after she basically comes to Korea with Deok-soo and eventually becomes a part of the family and has to live on the expectations of the Korean side. Her mother and father-in-law, which is Deok-soo's parents, not the father. I'm sorry, but she has to face the Korean traditional quote unquote of women, being like responsible for households and chores and all that stuff. And what stood out to me was that the fact that she had to align with the traditional conventional gender expectations in Korean society. If I were her, Youngja, in her perspective, I would have been really maybe at first kind of um, I probably would have had a hard time because like imagine being a university student with you're enjoying your life and you fall in love with this man and you're committed to the man. So that's why you came to Korea, leaving, your occupation, you're being a nurse and university student, leaving all that stuff and sacrificing for the man you fell in love with. I think that's true love, but the moment you come to Korea, you're supposed to live with the expectations that you're faced with. So, this is the final example. But in overall, I just felt like the movie maybe this was the director's intentions, but I felt like the limited female presence in the overall movie was kind of standing out to me, especially female woman presence in career scenes. Career scenes meaning like these examples, like being a coal miner and being at war, you wouldn't see a lot of females because I mean, like men are more well, quote unquote, suitable for doing physical activities such as like mining for coal and going to war than women. But these days, obviously, if you go to a coal mining scene, you probably would see one woman, one like female staff, because like there's more to it than just like mining coal. Like you have to be on top of like managing all that stuff. So I think I would say that you would see more female than you did in the past. And this is a picture of a soldier in the Vietnam-Korean War. And this is a picture from the scene where Toksu and his friend goes to Germany for the coal mining program. So these spaces were designed for men, which are only allowed to do labor like back then. And I'm not really sure if this was intentional or not, but I just think that it reflects the reality that women had fewer career options more than men and weren't really taking part of the economic decisions outside of the household or the domestical sphere, I would say, the traditional expectations that women were designed to, like I said, stay in the house, do kitchen work, laundry, and like just taking care of the family where men worked. Yeah, so this was my video project. Well, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty short, but I just wanted to make sure and just say that the movie itself, although I didn't really have that much background information and knowledge, stood out to me because even though I didn't know specific like history, like what happened, but time to time, like in scenes like the coal mining scene and the Vietnam War scene, I just felt like the movie was kind of intentionally showing the gender equality roles and how men had more of a advantage that more than women did in terms of career and occupations. Yeah, so yeah, this was my project for the video and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.